Hello lads and ladies, Brad the Guitologist here. One of the great debates in the realm of guitar has always been which is better, tradition or innovation. For years on this channel I have talked about, for instance, the way that amplifiers used to be built from like the 1930s to the 1970s with tube technology and point-to-point wiring or eyelet board or turret board wiring and plenty of documentation and schematics versus the new way of doing things with SMD soldering and board mounted components and no documentation whatsoever. I've talked about how the older technology in that instance was clearly superior to the newer technology. I've also talked a lot about guitars and, you know, the traditional way of doing things and the fact that, you know, sometimes you just want to get a Telecaster, you want to get a Les Paul, you want to plug it directly into your favorite amplifier and rock the out, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If it wasn't broke 75 years ago, why try to fix it now, right? So in both of these respects, it's pretty accurate to call me a traditionalist of sorts. But also for years on this channel, as many of you probably know, I have championed things that were off the wall or weird or new or in some way innovative that I thought was relevant and cool. Products like folding travel guitars, round tuner buttons, and plastic modular guitars with lots of problems in production. And that brings us to today's guitar. I had not heard of this company at all before they reached out to want to do this video with me, but I looked them up on their website. I checked out some of the other things that they had been doing, like their carbon body acoustics. I was sold not only on the guitar that I'm reviewing today, but on the vision of this company, because I think they have something cool to offer. And as soon as I saw it, I said to myself, you know, I have to review this. In the case of this guitar, I see not only possibly the future, but also a past that could have been or might have been. And I'll explain more about that in just a second. Let's take a look at the guitar. You know a guitar review is about to be truly legit whenever the reviewer leaves his house slippers in the shot. This is the guitar we're gonna talk about today. It's an Enya Music Nova Go Sonic. We have a little package with, scarily enough, a USB cable. But I don't know what the heck this is. It's some kind of little tool. I guess we'll find out what this is. It looks like, it's not a screwdriver, it's just some kind of little stick. I don't know what that is. A little power supply brick. Okay, already this padded gig bag is very nice. I can tell just without even opening it that this thing already has a lot of padding. Okay, so we do have a big outside pocket. I've got a big padded strap here. Might have been nice to have a backpack strap kind of a setup. What's your experience on that? Do you ever actually wear the full both straps, or do you do like I just showed and have just the one strap over your shoulder? Vote below.
Mail-in ballots will be accepted and counted at random intervals over the next 6 months, or until we get the result we need.
But okay, here is the guitar. So already, I can feel that this is something different without even taking all of this off. The weight of it is lighter than expected for an instrument of its size. And that's because this guitar is made from carbon fiber. The whole thing. If you're traveling with a guitar, it's usually best to take the one that is going to respond best to climatic changes, and carbon fiber is one of those materials that responds in a way that is among the best that we've found. This is a Chinese-made guitar. You know, the first thing to swap out on a Chinese-made guitar is the strings. Okay, and while we're at it, we'll go ahead and adjust the white balance so you can actually see that this is a white guitar and not some other weird color. This finish is not a really glossy finish. It's kind of a matte, but it's also kind of a texture. As you can see, yes, it's made in China. So yes, you would probably be right in thinking that it's made to a price point, but the thing is, it doesn't look so far as if they've cut many corners to reach a price point. It looks to me like instead they are offering something that's innovative and different, and yet still arriving at a price point. Another little sticker with some information. The model is a Nova Go Sonic. So they're actually manufacturing and designing this. They're not outsourcing the manufacture of the instrument. In a lot of cases on, you know, cheaper Chinese guitars, you have people who have designed something, they've come up with a cool idea or whatever. They've outsourced all the manufacture to a Chinese manufacturer, and the QC is kind of ends up being hit and miss. Look at the corners on this, the way that the body is really sculpted and rounded. This thing, I can already tell you, is going to play amazingly. This upper axis right here is extremely sculpted. I was also reading where it says that the neck is an asymmetrical neck. They have actually sculpted this with the human hand in mind, and you can really feel it up here. You can really feel it. Let's go ahead and get this paper off the strings. You know, really traditional bridge, traditional pickup setup, all of that stuff looks, you know, traditional enough. But then you see this stuff. You see the USB charging port, in addition to what looks like maybe a 3.5 millimeter output, perhaps, and then another output for an amp. A really cool, what looks like almost looks like a stereo knob, really well machined. We have a 1, 2, 3-way switch, and then we have a button here. Interesting choice for the adjustment screws here. We have hex screws, and then we have these flush mounted pickup rings that are just really nice. I love how sleek that makes the guitar look. That's a really nice touch. And that just shows you that this is not something that's been sort of slapped together with available Fender and Gibson style parts. This is something that they're actually innovating and doing stuff on their own. The body, like I said, this whole body, this is one piece, and it's carbon fiber. As you can see right here, you probably guessed it, this has a built-in amplifier. Now this is something that, when I say this is kind of where tradition meets the future, and I talked about a past that might have been, you know, there were a couple companies who tried this back in the, I guess the late 70s, but definitely through the 80s. You know, the motion toward active electronics and onboard electronics and stuff beyond just the pickups is something that is a traditional idea. If you want to learn more about the early history of guitars with onboard amplifiers, I highly recommend this Premier Guitar article by Frank Myers. There are some super rare examples pictured here, including guitars from Japan such as Taisco and Cypher, as well as even more obscure guitars from European makers. I think it's clear that when you consider these early 60s transistor models, as well as many of the later models from makers like Sinsonics, Fernandez, and even First Act, the idea of an onboard amplifier inside a guitar has a long history, but is somehow still also a novel thing. I love the way this feels right down here. This sculpting right here, it just feels like home. When you grab this guitar right there like that, that feels right. That is correct. But look at these frets. Bald ends on all the frets. No sharp. There is no chance for these frets to be sharp out of the box. Look at this. You just got to take some extra time and do it right. And these guys have done it right. Look at this. 0 fret, which is something you never see on a guitar anymore. I was going to say the strings do not look a bit dead. I don't think we're going to have a problem with the strings, and the reason is they're already D'Addarios. So they've already beaten me to it and put good strings on here. That's another great sign of quality right there, that they actually put quality strings on the guitar that they're shipping out. Hold to power on and off. Double click for wireless pairing. Signal click to switch tones. Rotate to adjust the speaker volume. Okay, so there's a separate volume control for the speaker, the onboard electronics, and the external. So this you can actually, can you rotate? Oh, you can. You can rotate this. Does this thing have a charge on it? Let's hold this and see. Yes, it does. Look at the green light. Ah! You're kidding me. I can hear it. It's changing color too. It's blue right there. Okay. You're kidding me. I gotta tune it. This thing would be plenty loud if, you know, again, if I didn't have a neighbor on a riding lawnmower. only flaw I can see with having the speaker back here is that my arm is in the way of the direct passage of the sound from the speaker to this ear. So it kind of changes as I'm strumming from a player perspective. I think this is the most metal sound with the most effects. It's gonna be kind of hard to hear because of the damn lawnmower that had to start up immediately when I walked outside. We might try this again. That is so cool. It's like it's feeding back itself. Look at that. It's producing its own feedback. I've never seen anything like it. The whole body is resonating too. It's like I can feel it through my hands. And you could just go away and have a bite. So I forget which is which, but one of these is an Alnico 5 and one is an Alnico 2 pickup that's in this. So they're not cheap pickups. It's not cheap electronics. They've designed all the electronics and everything from the ground up, as well as the carbon fiber body. So I mean, this is not your typical Chinese piece of crap. You know, I'm like a lot of you might say, oh, that's just a Chinese piece of crap. No, that's not what this is. And the cool thing about it, you know, with that hollow body like that, man, this thing resonates. It just went into its own kind of musical feedback. Everything on this, man, the fit and finish is extremely good. This is way above what I typically expect from a Chinese guitar. This is on another planet. But yeah, man, Enya. They should have named this guitar the Smooth Up. The Smooth Up Enya. Some of you will get that joke. Okay, so the other cool thing I forgot to mention about this guitar is that there's an app that's included with this. It allows you access to a bunch more tones that you can then assign to each of the 4 presets on board. Once it's programmed in and you're using one, then it'll continue using that on that channel. You download the app, you put it on your phone, and it'll come up and ask you to connect. You hit connect, it's real easy. It starts searching and then it finds your system, which is nearby. If there's more than one system nearby, it'll have all those listed. And you can name yours anything you want. So you'll see here, okay, right now I am on the clean tone. You can see the little clean tone up here. And if I scroll to the side, you can see there's 4 different presets. And you can see the different colors for the different presets there. So the green one is the one that I'm on right now. And if I look at my guitar, that light is green. You can't, you know, have a hard time seeing it, but it is green. So we're on clean, and the one I'm using right now, it looks like, is this preset called Breath right here. I think the one that's comes pre-programmed is this soft cry. That one right there. It's got a little bit of reverb to it, but not much. It's not a very loud preset. None of these are very loud. That's the only, I guess, complaint. I wish I had more out of it, but that's why you have That's why you can go to an amplifier, you know. But in some, in some of these presets, I'm just wishing for a little bit more oomph to it. But the thing is, I think if they were to make this any louder, the thing about the feedback would get unbearable. And I think for beginners, it would begin to inhibit their ability to learn rather than, be a cool feature. So that's this sound. Then you got this waves sound, which is kind of chorusy. You can hear it's kind of a chorusy effect. Then you got this one called Old Time on here. Really delayed. And you can actually go into that particular preset and you can change everything. You can change the amount of delay that you've got, the amount of every other effect that's in there, so you can see what's kind of going on there. And that's just in one effect on one of these channels. Looks like it's got a deluxe clean, so it's kind of a Fendery clean. You can change like the master volume, the regular volume. Let's see, let's just turn up the regular volume here. Okay, interesting. Let's I like the waves one. Let's go to breath. What is breath? This one's got some tremolo on it, so you can hear there. Let's go in and edit this one for actually a little bit of loudness. I want to turn it up some to the point where it feeds back, because we all love that, right? But you get the idea there, and then you can save that preset. I kind of like this waves one for a clean with all that chorusy stuff going on, but I do want it to be a little bit louder. So I'll go in and I'll hit edit, and then we'll just up the volume on it a little bit. There we go. Oh yeah. And now the overdrive tones, I mean, you've got, let's see. Here's the one it kind of comes with, and then you've got Texas, Whisper, which again is a lot of delay, and then Tower. So you get this, you get the idea here that there's that you can go into the app and you can change everything around. You can assign each of those 4 presets whatever kind of sounds you want. You can go in and modify them. Any idiot can go in here and do this. It's not hard. And actually, one of my complaints about this guitar was going to be that some of the presets didn't seem loud enough when I was playing them, and this app actually solves that. So you actually do get a chance to turn everything up a little bit so you can boost it. Okay, you can actually even change the amplifier. If you see right up here on this square, you have different amplifier models you can choose from. This one's a 100 watt distorted head, and then you've got a deluxe clean. So those are your options there. I don't know, maybe they'll come up with different amplifiers you can choose from in the future, but that's cool that you have at least a couple to choose from. And then of course you've got your raft of effects down here. but there aren't very many, but it's all most people would use. In this program, I also see that there's a firmware update, and I'm presuming that's a firmware update for the actual guitar. So I'm going to press that. I want to see what happens. It's telling me the firmware is up to date, but it's good that at least there is a way to update the firmware. There's also a section of tools where you get a metronome and a tuner and a little drum machine. Let's see what the drum machine's like. Okay, it's actually playing through my phone, not this. You get the idea there. Tuner, let's see how the tuner works. Metronome, let's see. Okay. Yeah, so some useful little tools there. I've got a chord dictionary. Yeah, okay. Some of you are probably wondering what this thing does when you actually plug it into an amplifier. Well, it works just like any other guitar. This is your master volume for your pickups. It's a regular guitar in this case. But then you can actually turn this on, the effects, and then use your onboard effects through your amplifier. Okay, as is typically the case when something gets sent to me, I like to open it up and see what's going on the inside. I do notice a little bump right here in this sticker, which tells me there's probably a screw behind that sticker right there. Yeah, it looks like I might be able to peel it up. Okay, yes indeed there is a screw under, or at least a hole for one, underneath here. So let's see if we can get it. Okay, that's just a little cover, and thank goodness it's just a Phillips. What is it? Oh, that's how you put the strings in. Wow, okay, that thing pops out and then you put the strings in right back here. Interesting. Okay. What do we got here? Battery pack. There's a switch. Here's the other switch, the three-way. Wait, that's a push-pull. Oh, that's a push-pull. I didn't even notice until I saw that. So what the hell does that do? Well, I'll find out right now. Okay, it's on. Let's see, hang on. So what the heck is this doing? Okay, that's definitely switching that to single coil. It does not appear to be doing that in this position though. Yeah, very interesting, man. So here is the speaker right here, and like I said, this is very, very similar. If you look at the construction of this, it's very similar to the TV speakers that you see. Pull this out of here though, I want to get a look at it. Alright, so it's got a little foam here to prevent dust and whatever from getting inside the body, which is good. You can see the size of this cavity that's here, And you can understand why this thing would be so lightweight. It is very, very lightweight. These speakers are actually different than the TV, the actual speaker itself, but the housing is very similar. So here's one of those TV speakers I was talking about. And here is the internal speakers that Enya designed. You see that more characteristic black carbon fiber look inside of here. They do offer this guitar also in black if you prefer, but I liked the look of the white one personally. You know, the thing about this too, some of you guys might say, well, Brad, you know, you're always going on and on about surface mounted components and this and that and stuff becoming basically landfill or a brick after something fails on a board like this where you've got all this surface mount components and chips. Well, that usually goes more for stuff that is hybrid, you know, where they try to smash a bunch of tubes and a bunch of digital stuff in the same kind of amp. It's really more for that because you've got that heat, you know, right up next to boards like this, which does not mix. But this isn't quite so bad. The thing about this is if you can't get the board, if this fails, you know, something goes bad on this in the future, you'll always be able to find a battery source for this to replace the battery, so that shouldn't be an issue, and you could probably do that just generically. But if you need to find this board again and you can't locate it for whatever reason, this thing is not going to be a complete brick because you'll still be able to use it as a regular guitar. It plugs in just like a regular guitar. So, you know, you could, at that point, and I'm talking, you know, decades into the future, if something happened where this went down or what have you. Because I usually, when I make buying decisions, I make buying decisions based on stuff like that. You know, how long would something like this last? Could I trust it to last? This doesn't look to me like it's going to be any kind of issue. I mean, it's very similar to a lot of the modeling amps and stuff that you see now. And those rarely go down, just like I said, because they don't have the issue of all the heat and stuff that comes with tube hybrid amps. So yeah, anyway, there's what you got inside of this thing. right, so that'll do it for this thing. Let me know what you think about this. To me, this is where it's at, dude. This is kind of the future. To be able to take this to a park or something and have like 4 different sounds at your fingertips, and also to have the traditional ability to just plug into an amplifier like that. And also you could see I was getting a lot of different tones and stuff by letting that resonate and just kind of musically feed back on itself. You can do a lot of different things with it. So yeah, let me know what you think below, and for now we'll see y'all later. Interesting.